Hi, I'm Troy Gifford, and I'm here to talk to you about an article that I wrote for Fingerstyle Guitar Journal about composing and arranging for the solo guitar. And basically, the idea here is to take a very simple idea and gradually, step by step, build it into something more complex. So what I've done is taken a very common chord progression that's built on a descending bass line in G major. And it's in example 1, and the chord progression is simply this: G major, D with F sharp in the bass, E minor, D major, C major, G with B in the bass, A minor, and then D. And then it could start back again in G. And this is, like I said, is a common progression. There are many melodies for pieces that have been written that use that particular progression. But what I've done is create my own melody that will work with that progression. And so it's a simple melody with a very narrow range. It only uses 2 strings, the 2nd and 3rd string. And it sounds something like this. And it's based on resolution to chord tone. So as I go through each chord, the melody will resolve to a note that's in that particular chord. So I could sing that melody and play it on the guitar at the same time, or play the chords on the guitar at the same time, or I could have another guitarist play the melody while I play the chords. But if I want to create a solo guitar arrangement, I've got to put both elements together, harmonic and melodic. So the first step that I will take here is to put the melody and the bass line together, and that is done in example 3, and it would sound like this. Okay, and that gives us a basic framework to start building on. So the next step, once I've got that, would be to fill in chords in between that melody and that bass line. So in example 4, I've done that, where I'm arpeggiating chords to make the arrangement sound fuller. So example 4 sounds like this. And you'll notice that at the end of that phrase, I changed the bass line to have F sharp in the bass so that it can resolve back up to G. But now that arrangement gives us all the necessary elements that we need. We have a bass line, we have the melody, and now we've added harmony, we've added chords to that, and we've put it all on a single guitar. So the one thing you want to do when you play it, you want to make sure that you emphasize where the melody is. If your arrangement gets really busy, then it can be easy to lose the idea of where that melody line is. So the next step, if I want to build on that, is to see where I can add other things to the arrangement. In this case, because the melody only takes place on 2 strings, the 2nd and 3rd string, I'm not using the high E string. So I can use that string to play chord tones as I go. And what I've done in example 5 is I've added chord tones on beats 2 and 4 of each measure, and that would sound something like this. So now it's getting a little bit more complex, and I could even take it one step further, which I've done in example 6, where I'm adding even more embellishments to that idea. So example 6 sounds something like this. And if I was going to use this idea to actually create a full piece, that phrase sounds to me like it wants to be repeated. So maybe I would begin the piece by playing the phrase in a more simple version, say the example 4 version, and then repeat the phrase with a more complex version, say like example 6. And if I played those two back to back, if I repeated it, it would sound something like this. And then I could continue and build the composition from there into another section. But I hope that gives you some ideas of how you can start with something really basic, very simple, and gradually, little by little, build it into something that sounds more complex or a little richer. So hope that helps. Good luck with your composition. Wish you all the best.